He's Doug O'Neill, former trainer of the year. And, of course, he was the trainer for All Have Another, won the 2012 Kentucky Derby and the Preakness Stakes, scratched in the Belmont, and Doug joins us now. Doug, how are you this morning?
Great, Dan. Thanks for having me.
If I gave you a mulligan 2 years ago with All Have Another, do anything differently?
I don't think so. No, we had the time of our lives with him, and it was just he gave us such a great run, and it was just unfortunate. In every sport, I guess, you got to stay injury-free, and we got so close we could taste it, but just couldn't get there.
Update people on the injury that All Have Another had, and where is All Have Another now?
All Have Another is at Big Sky, Big Red farm in Japan, beautiful Japan. And breeding about 140 mares a year, and he's a happy camper.
How much per mare?
I think U.S. it's about $40,000, I think, per mare.
Wow,
that's a lot of yen.
Now, how long can they do this?
How long do the sessions take?
No.
Oh, sorry,
no.
I didn't want to admit that I enjoy watching them. That's weird. They can do this for about, some stallions, 15 years, 20 years. It depends on, how fit and how much they enjoy it.
How many foals a year are we talking?
We're talking about, they probably, the 140 they breed, they probably impregnate about 120, I would say.
Wow, that's nice.
It's a lot of kids.
What's he doing his day off?
It's a lot of resting and probably reading and
smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, on the treadmill, trying to stay fit for the next day.
You were going to have, if All Have Another was going to race in the Belmont for getting scratched, had a nasal strip. Now, were you going to get approval for the horse to run with a nasal strip? Because California Chrome is waiting for approval, I guess, to run in the Belmont.
It was probably my bad, Dan. They told me I couldn't use one, and they didn't tell me I could make a request, but we didn't really fight it. And, now with Art and that team, they've requested to use one. And I think with New York has gone under a big change with management, and I think with Martin Panza, who's the new senior vice president, and they got a new CEO there, and Chris Kay, and a new equine medical director, and Scott Palmer. I really think at the end of the day they're going to let them use it, and I think we're going to see a Triple Crown winner this year.
Really? How much of a benefit is that nasal strip?
It's not going to make a slow horse fast, but it helps them breathe easier. It helps them recover better, and it's like a horse like California Chrome. It's been part of his equipment for the last 6 races, so it's not the time now where you want to change equipment. So I think it's something that it's kind of a silly that they're even thinking about not letting them use it, and I think at the end of the day, they will let them use it, and that's a good move.
He's Doug O'Neill, who trained All Have Another, the Kentucky Derby Preakness winner in 2012, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. How about the structure of the Triple Crown? Starting to hear a little bit more of a push to say, if you are in the Kentucky Derby, then you're able to run all 3 races with your horses. You can't bring in a horse like a designated hitter for the Preakness or the Belmont. You start with 20 at the Derby, and those are the 20 race horses. What do you think?
I think it's an amazing accomplishment if a horse can do it, and that's why it hasn't happened in 36 years. And I know they have talked about trying to put more time in between the races, but hopefully they leave it alone. And it takes an extremely special horse to do something like that. And I think if they mess with it, maybe an average horse or a good horse could stumble upon it, and I think it should take a great horse to do it, and the way it's shaping up, California Chrome might be that great horse.
But you have specialization now. How much specialization did you have? It's almost like relief pitchers, where you have a guy come in who, in the 8th inning or faces one batter. The specialization with horses now, with these races to 1978 when we had a firm win the Triple Crown.
Well, I think it's really, I don't know if it's changed a whole lot. You've got, I'm such a huge fan of Art Sherman. I think you got a a great trainer. I mean, the guy's did so many wonderful things here in California, but not a lot of people knew him. And now with California Chrome, he's been exposed for just being a not only a great person but a great trainer, and it's a wonderful story because the horse is so brilliant, and he was a homebred. They didn't go out and spend $1 million for him. The breeders own him still, and they're blue collar, good people. So I don't think it's changed a lot, but it you can tell. But because it's taken 36 years to hopefully get here, it's not an easy thing to do.
Jockeys get enough credit for this, Doug?
Probably not. Victor Espinoza, that ride he gave in both races were just brilliant. For him to navigate that horse so perfectly, especially in the Derby with a 20-horse field, and the target was all over him at the Preakness there, and he did a wonderful job of breaking clean. And then, he was a little aggressive going in that first turn to make sure he got good position. And now Victor deserves all the credit in the world.
How does California Chrome not win at the Belmont?
He doesn't win if, I guess like every other athlete, if he, he's got to stay injury free, and he's got to be, he's got to be fit and ready. Now he's got 3 weeks as opposed to he only had 2 weeks from the Derby to the Preakness, so he's got an additional week to recover. And
but are there days when a horse just doesn't want to run?
Sure. They have their days where you get here to the barn in the morning and they didn't eat up their nightly grain for whatever reason. And
did you have a pre-race speech to All Have Another?
Oh, big time.
Like, what'd you say? If I'm the horse.
Yeah. I say, Dan, listen.
Okay.
If you get this job done here, I can't even tell you what you're going to enjoy, but it's a lot of, just think of the nightclub where you're an ultimate chick magnet. That's the rest of your life. So get out there and do it, and you'll thank me later.
Wow, that's quite a motivational speech. That's right up there with Knute Rockne. Hey, it's good to talk to you again, and let us know when you have another. All Have Another.
I love it. You're the man, Dan. Thank
you,
for
buddy.
Okay.
That's Doug O'Neill, trainer for All Have Another.